this beautiful gathering, Darely and Steve. It wasn't long ago that our children were all playing together. And now, standing before you is your beautiful, talented, gifted daughter. Congratulations. Susan and Nick. I haven't known James since childhood, but I have known him most of the 7.5 years that they've been dating. And I know what a grounded and unique individual he is. Congratulations. Everyone may have a seat. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Laura Lynn Larson. I am Grace's aunt, and I am also the sister of the beautiful mother of the bride, Dara Lee. We welcome you today, not only to support, but also to celebrate with Grace and James, and to stand by them as friends and family for their lifetime of marriage. I say lifetime of marriage with confidence because James and Grace have witnessed their parents' strong marriages, and they've told me that their parents are their greatest role models. Grace and James truly admire the way their parents honor and love each other every day. To honor them, James' mother, Susan Gilbert, is here to give a prayer. Susan?
Oops. Thank you. Our priest says that the closest you get to heaven on earth is a wedding. You've got true love, pure joy, all of James and Grace's friends and family, phenomenal feast, music, dancing, wine. What more could we ask for? Thank you, God, for this heavenly day. And I just want James and Grace to just take a mental picture. Everybody who's shaped you in your life, who's been a part of your life, all here to celebrate this most wonderful day of your life. And just relax, and we're going to enjoy it all.
Thank you.
And now I'll just start with a prayer. So we'll, in Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, thank you so much for uniting James and Grace in a lifetime of love and devotion. May the love you have given them strengthen them as they grow as one together. Forever keep them humble, brave, and true, and forever will they always trust in you. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Susan. James and Grace, you are here because separately and together, you have reached a point in your life where you have a strong understanding of who you are, what your life means, and where you are going. Today is your union, your commitment, your bond for a life of loving and honoring one another. In the time that you've been together, I've seen some of the unique and special ways your relationship has evolved, and I'm deeply moved by what I've witnessed. Family and friends, I call their union destiny, as I believe we are all connected, not by chance, but by the power of love that is universal. Often this love is beyond our understanding or comprehension. It is love that draws us together in mysterious ways, not by accident, but by some universal design we rarely understand. The chance meeting of Grace and James at work 7.5 years ago was destiny. Here's what happened from James' point of view. I vividly remember seeing Grace from the staff kitchen and immediately thinking, who is that smoking hot new girl? It then took me a few days to work up the courage to say hi because I had been way overthinking it in my head. I didn't feel comfortable approaching her until our first company happy hour. We proceeded to talk the whole time at the bar, and before we left, I asked for her number. The rest is history. At that first night is the destiny that brings each one of us here to beautiful Egg Harbor, Wisconsin. So here we are, James and Grace, the start of your marriage, but not the start of your 7.5-year relationship. When I asked you what was one of the most memorable experiences you've had together thus far, you both had different answers. Each experience you shared with me revealed important qualities that you admire and love in each other, and I'd like to share just a couple of those. Here's one from Grace's most memorable stories with James. We were climbing to the top of Half Dome in Yosemite for my 26th birthday. It was the most memorable moment as I fell in love with James' spontaneity and curiosity for adventure. We were both out of our comfort zones, encouraging each other to put one foot in front of the other as we scaled the face of the mountain, holding on to the cables to make it to the top. I didn't know at the time, but James was just as scared as I was, especially going back down. I've heard about that mountain. And it was a confirmation that we will continue a life of adventure and travel. Here's one of James' stories that he told me of why he fell more deeply in, or an opportunity where he fell more deeply in love with Grace. We spent 3 months living in a cabin in the middle of nowhere in Taos, New Mexico. This was during the pandemic, and New Mexico was in heavy lockdown, so Grace and I had to find ways to pass the time. Our favorite ways were creating massive bonfires and looking at the stars, along with playing stump, shooting beer cans with BB guns, and hiking. We had so many great talks about life and how we envisioned our future. And knowing Grace, we had a lot of planning conversations. Grace, you're a woman after my own heart. But we never were bored, and although we suffered from some mild cabin fever, we fought through it together. It were those shared moments of adventure that bonded James and Grace more deeply, and there are many more qualities they admire in one another. James, you told me that you had a deep admiration for Grace's playful and fun spirit, the high value she places on family, and how she loves to bring family together to make those meaningful memories. You admire her drive to be successful, her tenacity, her hard work, her high energy, and her competitive spirit most of the time. Most of all, you shared that you admire her compassion and deep sense of caring that she demonstrates to those around her, with a willingness to drop anything to help a person in need. Grace, you shared with me that you admire James for his loyalty to his friends and the long-term relationships he has with those friends, many of whom are here with us today. You shared that you admire how personable he is, making everyone feel relaxed, included, and welcome. How confident he is in who he is, that he doesn't change for anyone. He's just consistently himself. He has such positive energy, which is what you love so much about him. You shared that you're able to be 100% yourself with him, and you stated, "He truly makes me a better Grace and respectfully calls me out when I'm wrong in hopes to build me up and see the positives. He is my greatest cheerleader." Grace and James, as you continue in your years ahead, you will discover more of those great qualities that you can foster in one another by encouraging each other, understanding each other's needs, and recognizing the differences in each other. You've asked me to share a little advice, and here are 3 characteristics or qualities I believe will reinforce the already strong foundation that you've built in your relationship. They are honesty, communication, and a sense of humor. Sounds simple, right? Let's break it down just a bit. Honesty. I picked honesty as the first characteristic because if we are honest with ourselves first and really understand our feelings, our thoughts, and our motives behind those feelings and thoughts, it will allow us to reflect on our actions. Take time to reflect on what you need. Grace and James, what you feel, what messages you're giving yourselves. And be honest with your partner about those. Communication. Communication's a skill we all take for granted because everyone talks a lot. Okay, you're thinking, yeah, communicate. But in our most intimate relationships, it breaks down to how we communicate and the patterns we've built over time. You both bring family patterns and natural personality characteristics that will allow for different levels of ease on how you communicate. It will be up to you to continue to self-reflect how that communication impacts the other person and remind yourself, and this is essential, we can't change the other person. We can only change ourselves. Sense of humor. If we can't laugh at ourselves, we're in for a rough ride, right? I know you both have a great sense of humor, and as we heard last night, so does your family. And there may be times where you need to remind yourself to lighten up, even in those most difficult circumstances. I will close by saying your most intimate relationship is your best teacher. Because you know each other so well, and if you can be honest, communicate often, and bring a sense of humor in at the appropriate times, you will thrive as individuals and in your marriage. It is now time for you to state your personal vows.
No, I think I am. Well, everyone's already seen me crying, so here we go. I've confessed my love to you many times, but obviously never in front of 200 plus people. So I thought it was only fitting that on our wedding day I tell you something I've never told you before. I'm not an overly religious man.
You don't say.
I'm not an overly religious man, but I did pray to find you in 2015. It was a New Year's wish, and it may be the only one that's ever come true for me. I'd been in San Francisco for 2 years, and I was lost. I needed a partner who could guide me, support me, and encourage me. This was something I literally dreamed about, and it wasn't long after that I was sent my saving grace. It took a while for me to work up the courage to speak to you, and our love has been a slow, steady burn ever since. Mostly down to the fact that I wasn't the man I am now. You have made me a better person in more ways than I can begin to express. Your continued belief in me has led me to this very moment, and I could not be more grateful for your constant support. Never stop pushing me to be better, because you are my ultimate motivator. I said it first, and I'll say it again today. I love you. First time I told you that was on the beach in Carmel, but I had known it for ages. It now makes me so happy that I get to say that to you every day for the rest of our lives. You've accepted me for all my faults and charms. For both, there are many. I promise to keep working on my faults while accepting that we will always be on a first name basis with the Amazon delivery man. And every Sunday night, we'll have a heart-to-heart when I have one eye open and my head's on the pillow. With everyone watching, I couldn't be more proud to say that what has always attracted me to you most is your drive. You will outwork anyone, and I know the same will apply to our relationship. In return, I promise to keep fighting for us for the rest of my life. We have only good examples of what marriage looks like from our own parents. Let's continue to follow their lead for the rest of our days. Even though we've been family for years, the best part of today is finalizing that with all of our friends present. So one more time for everyone to hear, I love you. I promise to do so forever. Oh, they were not allowed to kiss yet.
James, feels like a lifetime ago when I saw you on the train to work. Who knew that my initial work crush would turn into a forever love and a lifetime together? I'll never forget how I felt after our first date. We laughed all night long and we were never short on conversation. It was as if we've known each other for an eternity. I instantly felt comfortable and beautiful in my own skin, thanks to you. After that initial date, I came home and told Lindsay, I think I found the one. At that time in my life, I thought I had it all figured out. But man, I didn't know what I was missing. James, you have exceeded every hope I dreamed of in a man. I'm inspired by your charisma, genuine nature, and your deep connection for those you hold dearest to your heart. Growing up with a family that always came first, I knew instantly you were the one for me when I realized we shared the same morals. Nick, Susan, thank you for establishing these fundamental principles within your family. My goal as your wife, James, is to honor this with the best of my ability within our marriage and our future family together. James, you bring so much joy into my life. You remind me to not fret the small things and enjoy every day God has gifted us. You encourage me to remain present in every moment and to slow down when I'm moving too fast. Your unconditional loyalty has positively impacted my life when I've needed it the most. You have supported me through some of my highs and my lowest lows. You're truly my rock, and I would not be where I am today if God had not placed you in my life. James, you have an incredible influence on people. You're a genuine friend, colleague, and son, and now husband who I'm grateful to call mine. I promise to always continue to explore with you, never turn down a ski day, but more importantly, I promise to be honest with you, encourage you to be your best self. I vow to be your warrior, your confidant, and your best friend, just like we were 23 again. Over the years, we have watched each other grow independently and together. It hasn't always been pretty, but that's what makes our love beautiful. We always come back to each other because I can't imagine my life without you in it. Or your morning cheek kisses and your funny dance moves. Okay. Whew. When we're old and gray, I always want us to remember this way. Remember how we felt on our first date at Soda Mare, the excitement we felt when we first moved in together, the spontaneity of our Taos adventures, and this day, the day that we solidified our love in front of all of our family and friends, and be fulfilled that we lived fully and wholeheartedly together. James William Gilbert, you have my full heart, and I love you to the moon and back. It's Bugs and Janes against the world. I love you. Whew. You guys did it.
You got it. So I'd like you to take just a minute and look out at your crowd. These are the people who really love you, who are here for you, not just for today, for as long as you live, as long as they live. Take it in. Okay. You guys can face each other again. James, do you make a solemn promise to Grace before family and friends to commit your love, to respect her individuality, to be with her through life's changes, challenges, and adventures, and to nurture and strengthen the love between you as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Grace, do you make a solemn promise to James before your family and friends to commit your love to him, to respect his individuality, to be with him through life's changes, challenges, and adventures, and to nurture and strengthen the love between you as long as you both shall live?
I do.
It's time for the rings. James, we're gonna start with you, Grace. Yeah. There we go. Grace, repeat after me. With this ring, I offer you my heart and my soul.
With this ring, I offer you my heart and my soul.
May its presence on your hand
May its presence on your hand
be a constant reminder of my love for you.
be a constant reminder of my love for you.
James, repeat after me. With this ring, I offer you my heart and my soul.
With this ring, I offer you my heart and my soul.
May its presence in your hand
May its presence in your hand
be a constant reminder of my love for you.
be a constant reminder of my love for you.
In the state of Wisconsin, and by the powers vested in me with the help of the internet, I proudly pronounce you wife and husband. Family and
Knowing you can say the things
We did it, baby. Give me a drink.
Congratulations. Amazing. Amazing.
We're done.
Woo!
Get me a stiff one.
I didn't think you were going to get that far. Oh, is that a mic?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, shit, we did it. We're done.
Good job out there, bud.
Love you. We did it.
Oh, that was so fucking great.
Love you. Love you too. Thank you.
Oh, that was great job. Great speech.
gentlemen, my name is Leslie Hunt, and I'm your band leader this evening. Who's ready to have a great time tonight? I like to hear that. I need everyone in this tent to help me welcome, for the second time as husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs. James and Grace Gilbert. Yeah, got me and you took me all night long. Yeah, you took me all night long. Yeah, took me all night long. Yeah, got me and you took me all night long. Yeah, you shook face. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated while they enjoy their first dance as husband and wife.
It's a little bit funny, this feeling inside. Not one of those who can easily hide. I don't have much money, but boy, if I did, I'd buy a big house where we both could live. If I was a sculptor, but then again, no, we're a man who makes potions in a traveling show. I know it's not much, but it's the best I can do. My gift is my song, and this one's for you. And you can tell everybody this is a song. It may be quite simple, but now that it's done, I hope you don't mind, I hope you don't mind that I put down in words how wonderful life is while you're in the world.
Welcome. So I have had a lot of friends tell me that your father should never have a drink before you give the speech. That is a big mistake. Yeah, I have a lot of catching up to do to get up to the par where you guys are at. So, but I will be there shortly. Again, I just want to welcome everybody here to Door County. I know it was quite a trip to get here, friends and family, but I really believe it's worth the journey. I want to, before I say a few words about James and Grace, I want to say a couple of thank yous. One to Nick and Susan for an incredible welcome party last night. I also want to acknowledge, we did this last night, but there are some special guests that couldn't be here with us today. James's grandparents, Joyce and Jim. We know they're celebrating with us, even though they're afar. Also, Grace's older sister, Emily, our daughter, and her husband, Chauncey. They just had our first grandson 2 weeks ago. So, you know, August has been a big month for the Tanner family. We have a new grandson, and I have a new son-in-law. And I want to also say thank you to all the parents. As a parent, we know that you don't really know anything when you start this journey. You don't go to school for it. It's kind of what you do, what you don't do, and you look at your parents, you look at your grandparents. And I want to thank my mom for being an incredible parent. She's going to be tearing it up on the dance floor here. And I also want to give props to Jack, the best man here. Yesterday, he put on an incredible tournament for the groomsmen, and it was fabulous. To tell you how good it was, we were the last foursome, and by the time we got to the second hole, the cart lady came up, and we asked, hey, we want a couple of beers, some tequila. She goes, they cleaned me out. So it was a good time, and I think it actually helped because I think we came in first. So, us not drinking as heavily as the other crew, but we had a lot of fun. So, James, where should I start, or where should not start? Okay. I have a lot of great stories about James, but I think they were all covered last night. But I will tell you this, as a father, you start doing that assessment when you first meet the man. And from the day I met him, I was like, this guy's good. He's polite. He checked all the boxes. He comes from a solid family. He's from Chicago. He's a loyal fan. He's a loyal fan, a loyal person, even if his team is losing. I admire that, right? But most importantly, he checks all the boxes for my Gracie. So, and we've had a lot of time to bond together during COVID. So we spent a lot of time eating, drinking. We enjoy that. We play games and all that. But I feel like I owe it to you to understand what you can expect from Grace now. Grace, and for those of you that have worked with Grace, grew up with Grace, she is a woman. She knows what she wants, and she's going to get it. So I'm going to read you. She would always write us letters. I just want to share briefly with you. This is the original letter. She would usually slide them under the door, but this was her early on. She was very strategic, knew what she wanted. She goes, how am I going to get mom and dad to get me what I want? So, when she was real little, she said, I want a pet. So we started out with goldfish. Then we went up to, a cat or two. We had a guinea pig. And then when she said, hey, I want a dog. And I said, well, you can't have a dog until you turn 8. She turned 8, she got the dog. Next thing, I want a phone. Well, you got to be 13 when you have a phone. Nowadays, they give phones out at birth. But, we were, held back. She had her phone. Well, when she turned 16, what did she want? She wanted a car. So I told her, you need to do a little research. So she gives me this list, Grace's car list. It starts out with a Volvo S40 manual. Half the kids in here don't know what the hell a manual is, right? And she put down the make and the model, the year, 2006 to 2009, and the color, white, black, silver. And then she goes on down. The next one is a Mazda 3, a Jetta Passat, another Jetta VW, and then a Honda CR-V. And then she points out, I want a Jeep Patriot. A Jeep Patriot's good on the list, and it gets 28 miles to the gallon. And so, I could go down the list. I think she, had quite a few, and then a few days go by, I get another note. You see this? Dad, I did my part. Now you do yours. So I'm like, okay, I get the list. Now she's taking it down from 10 to 5. And she's got a little smiley face. number 1 with an asterisk, BMW 325, 2004, 2009. She's moving up. And then number 2 is a Volvo S40, 2005, Audi A4. Jetta made the list for all you German folks that like, the Jetta. And then a Jeep Patriot. And then big letters, email them. Love, your fabulous daughter. So, James, you already have experienced this. You both are in over your head because I know that James is could be just as demanding. So, oh, you know what? The crazy thing, the one thing that wasn't on the list, and that's a great question, was a Kia Optima. A gray Kia Optima that we got from our good friend Phil Kelly. And that car went through her and the twins. And it's still running today. But I'll tell you now, Grace, what are you driving today? A Jaguar. Grace, your turn. I tried, I think I'm doing pretty good, but when I read my speech 4 or 5 times a day, I could not get through without crying. But I think I might succeed here. Grace, from the moment you entered our lives, you've given us joy, an adventure. You bring energy to the room and you fill it with laughter. You're fearless. You're confident, loving, and compassionate. You're a true role model to others, and you're a leader. You're protective and encouraging toward your family and your brother, especially your brothers. If I had to do something with my sons, like discipline them or whatever, it was the 3 of them against me. They had each other's back, and I love it and respect it, and you'll do it forever. You're special in every way. And it's evident when you look at all the people here and you hear the stories about both of you. It's just we're blessed. Your mom and I could not be any more fulfilled and satisfied with the woman you have become. There'll be some headwinds, there'll be some tailwinds that you will face together. Always be there for each other, always listen, always respect each other. Your love will grow deeper and deeper as you begin this journey. This is my lovely wife, Daryl Lee. I blew it. This is my beautiful wife, Daryl Lee. But it is an honor to be the first ones to toast Mr. and Mrs. James Gilbert. Woo! Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I'm going to ask the bride and groom to stand up really quick. And I want to hear some noise for how insanely gorgeous Grace looks tonight. Woo! Woo! Come on, it's their wedding day. Let's hear some more. Uh-oh. All right. There's been some incredible speeches here this weekend, so I'd be lying if I was saying I wasn't nervous. What a beautiful weekend it's been so far. For those who don't know us, my name is Mackenzie.
And I'm Emily.
And we are Grace's best friends, maid of honors, life coaches, therapists, consultants, sounding boards, the list goes on. We first off wanted to thank the Tanners and the Gilberts for hosting us here this weekend to celebrate Grace and James' fifth weekend. Grace has talked about Door County for years now, and I know how excited we all are to enjoy a weekend here in this place that has become a special place in Grace's heart and a home to the Gilberts for over 20 years. It's far exceeded my expectations, and I know my husband and I will definitely already be coming back, probably next summer. Grace, we'll start with you. When Emily and I began to write our speech together, we quickly learned a few things ring true in our friendships with you. You're incredibly loving, you're fiercely loyal, you're extremely confident, and always so full of life. It always impresses us how you balance it all. You have such a successful career, a very strong-rooted foundation with James, all while keeping your friends and family a top priority. You're our sister, the perfect best friend, and we couldn't be more proud to be your maid of honors.
Now James enters the chat. James, ever since I met you, the conversation was super easy, as if we'd known each other for years. As Kenzie and I got together to talk about what we appreciate most about you is that you're genuine, you're thoughtful, and you always keep us laughing until our stomachs hurt. Thank you for allowing Grace to truly be herself and making her the happiest that we've ever seen her. It's been really special to watch your relationship evolve over the years. You guys have taken every challenge that's been thrown at you, whether it's torn MCL, some third-degree burns, changing jobs, or getting through a global pandemic, and you've risen to the occasion and become a stronger couple because of it. The love and the support that you guys have for one another is all we could ever hope for our best friend. We're incredibly proud to know you, and we can't wait to see where this next chapter brings you.
Now let's lighten things up a little bit.
Leslie, hit it.
Now this is a story all about how Grace ended up in a wedding gown.
We'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. We'll tell you how the newlyweds became the perfect pair.
In Coto de Casa, born and raised, Selma's Pizza is how she spent most of her days.
Grace was smart, good grades through school, never in trouble. She followed Darilee's rule.
Cute freckled face, pretty blonde hair, best friend of all, couldn't compare.
Pretty popular, creative, cool as can be, but I'll tell you what, U of A wasn't free.
Costume party she never outgrew, or the hangover she had to push through.
To Short Tree Squad, she was a pro. I wish you could have seen her drop it low.
The boys always wanted all of her attention, told him wait in line, call her extension.
Commencement came, the choice was clear, it's U of A for the next 4 years.
Kia was packed, ready to go. Her big sis was Emily, wouldn't you know?
Too many shots, overnights at SAE, many sauce bowls of mac and cheese.
4s went quick, college was fun, the San Fran adventure had begun.
S3 had captured the best, now James was about to be very blessed.
Fast forward a couple of years, and James was there for all the job's tears.
Over a couple of years, their friendship grew, and it wasn't long before they knew.
They wanted to spend their life as one, and Mr. and Mrs. Gilbert they'd become.
He popped the question, she said yes, and Grace went shopping for a wedding dress.
So raise your glass as we say cheers to Grace and James for many happy years. Grace, you're the reason we're all here. You know James we adore. Love is the reason we're all here. That's what we're hoping for. No, you're never gonna be lonely. You're with the best guy of all time. Susan and Nick, oh, 2 little boys. The Tanners and the Gilberts, out here in Door County. Now there's Steve and Darilee's little girl, one happy family.
my God, they're perfect mates.
And we're all here to celebrate.
Grace got lucky, found a cat.
7 years flew by in the flash.
Was he an Englishman?
Yeah. Was it a great first date?
Did he know all the best dive?
Yeah. If he's everything you need, you better lock that boy down now. Grace Tanner.
Yeah,
Is off the market. Ain't got a boyfriend. He's an Englishman. Forever starts tonight. The sales guy gotta push a quote.
taking sales calls in Pal's remote.
If you want a party, give him a call.
He's the loudest lad thanks to alcohol.
Was he adventurous? Was he a gentleman? Was he a perfect catch? Yeah. If he's everything you need, you better lock that boy down now. Grace Tanner. Yeah. Is on the market. Yeah. Ain't got a husband. He's an Englishman. Forever starts tonight.
We need a shot.
Cheers, we love you.
For those of you that don't know me, I'm James's younger brother, Jack. Thank you. Just wanted to, I was promised a 10-minute warning. I didn't get that, so excuse me. I'm just kidding. I just want to start by thanking both the Tanners as well as my parents for an incredible weekend. I originally planned on opening up with, and we haven't even opened up the dance floor yet, but that ship sailed. I know it's a cliche, but there's obviously a lot of stress and anxiety that goes into planning your kid's wedding, not to mention dollars and cents. So thank you guys very much. I think I can speak for everyone here to say it's been completely worth it so far. We got the best part to go. I'd also like to echo my old man yesterday, which who knew he was part of the forensics club, speech guy. But thank you very much for everyone making the trek here. I'll be completely honest, when I first heard they were going to have the wedding here, as much as we love this place, I had some logistical worries, but the turnout's been absolutely incredible. So thank you all for making the trek, no matter where you came from. Being James's only brother, I've been preparing this speech for some time now. Every time I'd come up with a good story or anecdote, and as we've come to learn, there's a lot of those about James, I'd jot them in the notes in my phone. So a couple weeks ago, I sat down to actually go and write this speech. And I had this great big long list of stories. From there, I thought, all right, let's whittle this down and see which ones are wedding appropriate. And let me just say, that list quickly got a lot shorter. That being said, I apologize in advance for the somewhat vulgar language that comes with this first story. But when I thought about not including it or just trading it in for something else, it didn't seem right. But seemingly anything goes with this crew this weekend, so here we go. Somewhat building on the Chris Farley, David Spade scenario my dad laid out yesterday, I feel my relationship with James can best be summed up in one story that took place in Boulder about 10 years ago. We were both at CU at this point. My roommates and I are standing in Smelly Deli, which is just a little boutique grocery store that sells sandwiches and wraps over the counter. Hell yes. Go Buffs. We're waiting for our sandwiches, minding our own business, when who barrels through the door but James. I had just started my sophomore year and James's senior year after studying abroad the entire previous year. So keep in mind, we hadn't spent a lot of time in Boulder at this point, and this is the first time my friends are meeting James, if you want to call it that. Didn't take long to suss out he was overserved. Are we sensing a theme here? He makes a beeline for the fridge with the Gatorades in it, takes one out, has his fill, and puts it back on the shelf. I frantically grabbed it before the shopkeeper had a chance to say something and kick us out. But by the time I do, he's in the next aisle, elbow deep in a bag of salt and vinegar chips. At this point, I'm doing my best to plead with James. Please, I'm trying to usher him out the door. Get out of here, get out of here. Just as I thought the nightmare was over, he turns to the poor man making my sandwich and screams with authority, "Extra cock meat on that cock meat sandwich?" Then just as quickly as he appeared, like a thief in the night, he was gone. Again, I apologize, but I had to tell that. My friend turned to me, I'm mortified. He says, "That's your brother?" In complete disbelief of what he had just witnessed. And with my tail between my legs, I said, "That's my brother." Now you're probably thinking to yourself, how on earth does that epitomize your relationship? Well, I don't mean to sound like the responsible one and make James look like the out of control wild child, but let's just call a spade a spade. Many of my experiences with James over the years, I felt like a referee following around with the whistle, just waiting for the next foul. Now, James has always suffered from questionable decision-making. This is evidenced in and was likely exacerbated by the locker boxing matches that used to take place in our basement as a kid. I'd come home to James and the rest of the geniuses he palled around with, a couple of which are here today, dressed in catcher's masks and football helmets, boxing with hockey gloves and those old Incredible Hulk fists. We actually found old home video footage of this the other day, and let me tell you, it looks as stupid as it sounds. If that wasn't enough, to announce each round, the same amount of boys would step in front of the screen and moon the camera to let the viewer know. Like I said, geniuses. Now, back in those days, like many siblings, James and I would fight about just about everything. And most of our fights would culminate in either James whipping my ass or me throwing something at him before he had the chance and then hiding in the bathroom until he cooled down. This animosity towards each other carried into high school. By then, I desperately wanted to hang around James, like any younger brother does, but he still didn't want me around, and self-admittedly, a lot of the time for good reason. I was a little shithead. But I'll never forget, James used to drive us to school his senior year, and for any of you Red Devils out there, you remember you'd pull up on the left side of the school and park in the parking lot. There we go. Well, one day, James pulls right past that parking lot, right up to the front of the school, and says, "Well, I'll see you later." As you can imagine, I was a little perplexed, and I asked him, "What do you mean? Where are you going?" As if it was a silly question, and without hesitation, he says, "To the Sox home opener with Garrett." "But will you turn in my cooking homework?" Turns out he would call into the school using my dad's English accent, and they were none the wiser. Of course, I asked him to do the same for me, and I believe his exact words were, "Not as, get out." Finally, though, something gave. Either that or they just needed a bartender. But nonetheless, I was finally asked to bartend for James's annual Christmas party. There we go. Some of these people remember that. I remember being so excited, I put on a gaudy green shirt and red tie and made sure no one was without a drink. The options were Captain Morgan or Captain Morgan. This marked the beginning of the start of James and I's positive relationship. From then on, my most memorable nights were coming home to one of their many outdoor bathroom sessions for some extracurriculars and intellectual conversation. I'd be out with my own friends and literally go home just because I had more fun with theirs. Now, mind you, despite us becoming good friends in time, the whistle was still always at the ready to keep James in check all through college and for some time after, until enter Grace. I knew Grace was here to stay when I saw the way she put up with our family. It takes a special breed, trust me. Whether it's one of my signature temper tantrums, which Grace first was introduced to on a trip we took to Telluride, the Great Gilbert Family War of 2019, or being the only one that can give it back to Susie G as good as she dishes it out? Grace can handle it all. Even just last week, fielding outlandish last-minute wedding requests from my old man to change the table due to the geometric shape. Grace takes it all in stride, and for that, we love you. And of course, most importantly, she knows how to put up with this wild card. I still can't believe James actually convinced Grace to go through with this. But then again, he's always had a major power of persuasion. I mean, hell, he convinced her to live in a hut on the side of the mountain in New Mexico as if they were in witness protection for 3 months, so my goodness. Nah, but in all seriousness, James has always been as tough as nails, as loyal as a German shepherd, and full of absolute joy and optimism. He's still all of those things, but thanks to Grace, he's now also much more compassionate, patient, and understanding. Now, in contrast to the story I told earlier, when people ask me, "That's your brother?" I'm proud to say, that's my brother. Now I'm proud to also say, that's my sister, and I'm proud of her. No one better to hand the whistle off to. It's your job now. Love you. This is off the cuff, but I'll never forget we went to lunch club once with us three, and Tom White said to me, "Shut up, Gilbert, it's not your wedding. It's my wedding today, Tom, so go fuck yourself." So, all right, guys, just a quick note I want to say. I also, wait, I've got to get my notes straight. I'd like to say most of the speeches up until this point, I've been highly offended by. America has come a long way in the past couple of years, especially when it comes to mental health. I was diagnosed officially with ADD at a very young age. And that is what the reason for my bad behavior. So for anyone to say anything otherwise is completely out of order. Also, I've been undiagnosed with an identity crisis, which is why I switched my accent. So anyone says anything about that, that's bullshit. So if you guys don't believe in mental health, get out of here. Seriously though, this weekend will go down as one of the best weekends of our lives, and we have so many people to thank for it. So we're gonna do it together. Grace says she wanted to get on the mic, and that doesn't happen very often, so I couldn't say no.
Woohoo! All right, well, as Mackenzie gets me my drink, because James also prepared this. He's like, "Hey, by the way, we're gonna give a speech at our wedding, and we should probably practice." And I'm like, we are getting married in 48 hours, so all right, I guess we're just gonna have to do this off the cuff. So let me take a little sip. All right, well, firstly, we would like to thank you all for coming to Door County to celebrate with us. We know it was definitely not the easiest place to get to. And honestly, probably is not on a lot of people's bucket list. I mean, they're like, Wisconsin? Like, where are you getting married? We're like, yeah, don't worry. When you get there, you'll understand. But I hope you can all see the beauty that first attracted the Gilberts to this place and keeps James and I coming back here every 4th of July. We're so glad that we can now share this magic place with all of you. So thank you. When we first discussed what we wanted our wedding to look like, our top priority was we wanted all of our friends and family together. So that means a lot of you. We're like, all right, we're gonna have a big wedding. We're gonna do this all in one place so we can throw the best party of our lives. That's truly what makes this the most special event to us. All of these worlds will collide once, but these memories will last us a lifetime. So let's blow the roof off the Sentinel!
Well said, Grace. Can we go all give my beautiful bride one big round of applause? Look how good she looks. Hey! Take a bow. Take a bow. Take a bow. I said it in my vows earlier, but she truly is my saving grace and the best thing that's ever happened to me. Our new starter drinks at S3 were famously not the most Me Too friendly engagements. Drinks and a chance to meet the new girls doesn't always go to plan, but this time it did. Ultimately, that's what brought us together. I'm pretty sure she chose me that night or aggressively planned to kiss on me outside a porta potty, but who's asking?
But little do you guys all know, he was internal emailing me for weeks on end, so.
They each have their own story, you know, we'll move on. We'll move on. So I think we can all agree Grace is an incredibly driven woman and always gets what she wants. But one of the things that attracted me to her most is because I'm constantly driving to catch up to her boundless ambition. She will keep pushing me until I'm the best man I can be, and that's all I could ever ask for. Plus, she's a smoke show. So that's a nice bonus. That's just an added bonus. I look past that usually. But not only because of you, though, but because I formally get to be part of the Tanner family. Steve and Darrell Lee have always been so welcoming to me, and I feel so blessed to be formally part of their family. They truly are some of the most caring people I've ever met in my life, and I know that they'll always have our back through thick and thin, so I love you guys. Thank you. Plus, I also got 2 new snowboard buddies. And I mean, if you lose one, you find the other. It's like deja vu. So James and John, they are the best. Love those guys, best friends. And if you didn't see their speech last night, I'll tell you everything you need to know. Great guys. I promise to do everything in my power to take best care of your daughter and sister, always putting her before myself. I cannot thank you enough for everything you've done for us up until this point and letting me be part of your family. I will always make you proud to call me your son. I love you all.
Thank you, you're so sweet. All right, the Gilberts, Susan, Nick, Jack, what's up? I had the pleasure of meeting the Gilberts 7.5 years ago. And I remember our first time as Jack alluded to earlier today, he had a little fit and I was like, okay, what's going on here? All right, we're good, okay. But as time has passed, I realized that this family is more connected than I ever imagined. Like, they show their true colors at all times, like all emotions, anything goes. But the first time I ever met them, I felt like I had known him for years. And I think that just really coincides with how I felt when I met with James. I was like, there's clearly like a connection here. And I just feel so honored to be joining the Gilbert family. Nick and Susan, I know you've done so much this weekend for this wedding. Being close here to Door County, Nick thinks he's a local face. You know, he's a local. I can't thank you guys enough for everything you've done. I really, really appreciate it. You guys have really thrown the wedding of our dreams. We've been planning this for 2 years, and it's just incredible to see it all come together. So, woo! Yeah, you finally have a daughter.
And just one last thing I want to say is, although he absolutely ruined me, Jack, best man, played the best golf trip yesterday, and he's my best friend. And thank you for everything, Jack. Been amazing. And I can tell you the one thing. If my nan was here tonight and everyone else couldn't be here, they'd want one thing. Let's blow the roof off this motherfucker. Let's go! Thank you all for coming. Let's party.
Let's party! Yes. Let's party!
let's get James out onto the dance floor with his mother for the mother-son dance. Mount Virginia, don't let me wait. The Catholic girls so much too late. All but sooner or later it comes down to fate. Might as well be the one. But it showed you attachment, told you to pray. Built you a temple and locked you away. Oh, but they never told you the price that you paid. Things that you might have done. You know that only the good die young. That's what I said. Only the good die young. Only the good die young. You might have heard I run with a dangerous crowd. We ain't too pretty, we ain't too proud. We might be laughing a bit too loud. Oh, but that never hurt no one. So come on, Virginia, show me a sign. Send up a signal, I'll throw you a line. Same glass curtain behind and behind. Never lets in the sun. You know that only the good die young. That's what I said. Only the good die young. Only the good die young. Yeah, let's join us on the dance floor. Nice white dress and a party on your confirmation. You got a brand new soul and a cross of gold. But Virginia, they didn't give you quite enough information. Ooh, she never cared for me. Did she ever say a prayer for me? Whoa, whoa, whoa. They say there's a heaven for those who wait. Some say it's better, but I say it ain't. I'd rather laugh with the sinners and cry with the saints. Sinners are much more fun. You know that only the good die